Let's start this shit up.
Thank the light, everyone. I'm Desmond, and this is my hetero life mate,
Fatty the Chef.
Welcome to our Wheel of Time podcast. We are your... I haven't figured out how to do that, what to say for our intro. We are your source.
We are your shoulder to cry on for all things Wheel of Time.
There we go. Perfect. I love it. Holy crap. Again,
we will hold your hands and get you through the dark times.
Yeah, this show moves so fast and so slow at the same time.
Yeah, I know. It's like this episode left me a little underwhelmed. I still loved it. There were just a few more things that I wish they would have done, but I guess it would have been hard, but I still loved it. It's just,
I thought about it a couple episodes ago, but I didn't want to try to get out in front of it. But this really was just a setup for the show they eventually want to get to.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Yeah. And I think they did a great job. This is going to be one of the longest off seasons I've ever lived through, just being like, what's next?
Dude, I have such a boner. I'm just like, oh God. I mean, that's actually what made me most excited about this episode. I told you we were going to get some of those, the Western Shores thing was going to play in at the end. We'll talk about it. I knew that was coming. That was definitely sufficiently yes. I did like the dragon at the beginning, so like I said, there was some things, we'll go through it. There's some things I love and there's some things I was like, oh man.
So let's just jump right in. We start 3,000 years ago.
Yeah.
With a Sidene and a Sidar. Is it Sidar?
Yeah, basically they're kind of the head of their respective. She holds the title of Tamirin, but actually he did at one point, but it's kind of like he's the leader of the male Aes Sedai, and she's kind of like Suan Sanche now. And this was the main thing, is that the women were like, they disagreed with going to, what. And I think that's one of the things they've been talking about. Oh, the Dark One's prison is the Eye of the World. It's like the Dark One's prison is not the Eye of the World. It's just kind of one of the seals and like some of the Forsaken. Like it's kind of like it's the outer seal to the inner seal type of thing, if you want to look at it that way. And, Ishmael was the one who was closest to the world. And he's been able to touch the world almost since he was put away. And so powerful for so long that he thinks he's the Dark One, kind of. He's kind of insane a little bit. So, but this was the main thing, is that the Aes Sedai, a lot of the Aes Sedai were flocking to the Dark One, and Lews Therin wanted to go and strike at the heart of Shale Ghul, which is where the Dark One is prison is. No, but that's where his prison is, actually at a place called Shale Ghul, not the Eye of the World. The Eye of the World was just in the books was a place where there was like the way I understood it is that the men had already started to go insane a little bit, and they worked with the females to create a pool of untainted Sidene, so that when the dragon came back, he could, learn how to channel like with an untainted pool of Sidene, and so he could at least kind of stall off the madness for a while. Was the way I understood it. And when they first get there, there's a Forsaken who's kind of attached himself to it, and he was like old and decrepit, and by the end of the fight, he's like looking like as young as Rand. So, like I said, that's the Eye of the World, a little bit different, but they're going to end up, so that's why, Moiraine kind of says at the end, oh, this is just the beginning. It's like, oh, yeah, you think, and it's kind of cool because you do think all the way through the Eye of the World that this is like a one, even though I knew there were books after it at that point, I felt like it was standalone, because you're like, yeah, it's over.
Yeah.
It's so not over. It's so not over.
Well, and especially when most authors are just like, well, let's just get this one book out there and see what happens. So you don't leave this much of an open-ended.
Yeah.
But he obviously had a universe in mind, and
yeah, to a certain extent, definitely he had a universe in mind, but more like I think some of his lore evolved along the way, but he had a real good idea of what he wanted his female characters to be and his male characters to be, and the duality of man and the reincarnation. I think he was a war veteran and stuff like that. So he saw death and wanted to, I think, to believe in something a little bit bigger. I think it kind of helped his writing in that sense.
So you've mentioned that in a lot of the later books, he works a little bit more on world building and stuff like that. Like, has that fed in? Are they using some of those older book world building in this first season? Like, would this, if they just did the straight first book, would it not be as like
People would quit halfway through. Not that it's boring. It's just like I was telling Lisa, I was telling my wife today, I was like, you gotta, if they tried to flesh out the world as much as they wanted to in the first season as they did like the first book, there was just this, they would just lose too many people.
Well, no, I just mean like as far as their outfits and the cities and like, were they as fleshed out in the first book as they were later? Just
yes. That's something that he always paid a lot of attention to, and then kind of too much as he got further on. Some of the things that he says a lot, like bared in a rictus snarl, like that's one of the things that he uses a lot that I like. Yeah, Perrin drew his axe, teeth bared in a rictus snarl. You're like, yeah, get him, bite him.
Well, it's interesting too. I bet as we go along and we discuss the books more, we can discuss when the books were written. And it's like, oh, Clinton was in the White House here. And then, oh, this is when Bush was in the White House. So he was having different things that he wanted to convey to the world about peace and neutrality.
I hadn't even thought about that. I just looked at it as the fact I knew when he got sick, he definitely started to do the scroll work and the tapestries and the worlds. But then when he did write something that was profound, like there's a scene, Do Might As Well, as a lot of the people are book fans are like, oh man, that's what I can't wait to see. Because it's like, you see Rand, he's this innocent kid, and to see where he gets to at that point, the anger and the insanity and it's just the destruction, it's like it's going to be amazing to see on screen. I can't wait. It's amazingly and terrible at the same time. It's horrific, so, but that's getting way ahead. Like I said, the beginning, the Aes Sedai are kind of breaking apart at that point, and because he's, Luceron's like, I want to go shut this down, and the females are like, and like they didn't know that was going to happen, so that's a little bit bullshit to me, because she's like, oh, you're going to set us back 1,000 years, because they had no idea that would happen.
But bad guys go from bad to worse with a little shove, and this might have been the shove that they needed to go from like petty theft to
No, you're right.
The full Las Vegas mafia.
It's like a lot of the times the Dark One is kind of a mirror, so he wants to flip. He'll use your worst fears against you, and in that sense, the closer he could be to that much Saidin being channeled, the more he can influence the people who are wielding it. And in fighting back is how the taint was, imagine it as like a poison, and that he struck a poison into that side of the power. And that, after that.
Does the dragon have a 3,000-year lifespan, or is every 80 years the dragon being reincarnated into the wheel? And
bro, the wheel wills as the wheel weaves. It's like the weaves is the wills, or whatever they say all the time.
Is this Ishmael at the Is this Ishmael at the beginning? Is this Rand at the beginning? This is Ishmael.
No, that is Rand. That's the dragon. That's Lews Therin for sure.
3,000 years ago.
3,000 years ago. And that's why it's a little confusing. They call him the Dragon Reborn. They should just call him the dragon. He was the dragon, as far as I know. I don't think there was a dragon before him, or at least they didn't call him the dragon before that. So, but the fact that it's like you find out more along the times is like Ishmael's kind of the human manifestation of the Dark One, and Rand, or the dragon, is kind of the manifestation of the light. Like, so devil and Jesus, if you want to get like really brass tacks and go black and white, like it's kind of like, if you're a religious person, you can understand it that way. I'm not super religious, but like that's, it's like that. It's dark versus light, and they're really oversimplifying it for the show, which they have to. Me and my cousin were arguing about that. The scene with the Aiel with Rand's mom it was great, but he's like, why does she take her veil off? And I'm like, first of all, she's 9 months fucking pregnant. And he's like, well, but he comes back, he's like, it wouldn't matter to an Aiel, and that's totally true. It would not matter to an Aiel. And also, usually maidens, when they get pregnant, if they decide to have the baby, they give up the spear for the last 6 months, and then they give the baby up for adoption, and then they go back to fighting. Technically, they shouldn't be fighting that late in the pregnancy, but because of the situation, she was. He's like, oh, well, what if you, had her unveil, to show that she trusted Tam. And I was like, it's TV, man. You got to have some reference on who she is. She's freckle faced and like light ginger, not dark red hair like the Aiel. Like they're trying to show that she's different.
Yeah.
And so it's like, yes, I understand that the lore and the Aiel way and everything, but it's like, dude, it's a TV show. You got to have some context for the audience, especially people who don't know the source material.
Yes.
Because otherwise you have to, those are the ones that you have to make like it. We're nerds. We're going to get bonered up about it no matter what. If you don't make the people who don't have any idea understand or like it, then it's pointless. You have to do it in a way that matters to them. And I think they're crushing it. Even while I get disappointed at some point. Yeah, if you want to read the books, go read the fucking books.
Or yeah, you've already read the books and now it's here and this is. And I just want to make a quick correction, Justin. You are very religious. Your religion is just Jedi.
You're right. I mean, I do have just watch. Hang on. You can smell it. You hear that, folks? I am actually a Jedi. That's my lightsaber.
Just like that.
It's purple.
Snickety Steins.
Snickety Schneins. Oh! Anyway, so now that we're not even 5 minutes into this episode, yeah, definitely, like, it's kind of like the Pride Before the Fall. Lews Therin just thought he knew better.
Yeah.
He's like, I got to do this, and it's like, hey, you know what? If you haven't learned anything of this first season, you need to listen to the women because they know what's up.
So yeah, I think this is. So first of all, he has a dragon on his chest, right? That's like his sign.
Yeah.
I'm right about that.
Yeah. Well, he was known as like the dragon. That was kind of like his sigil or whatever, but it was a nickname. It was a sigil. It was what he was known by besides his name.
And is this baby just Jesus incarnate or is it his child? Was this child birthed normally?
I have no idea.
Awesome.
If you allow me to speculate,
yes.
I'm thinking that it was probably his child with someone named Ilyena, the one that Billy Zane's screaming about, dragon. But I don't know who that baby is. I'm not sure if it has meaning. I'm sure it must have meaning, but I'm going to have to dig into that because I really don't have a clue.
So are they just taking Rand from village to village for 3,000 years to hide the fact that he's living forever?
No, it's not that he lives forever. He's been reborn a few times over that time, and he's either just been a farmer, no one's found him, he died, or went to the dark side. Ishmael talks about the Trolloc Wars at some point. I think he says it to Rand in this episode. Ishmael's been able to touch the world. At one point, he goes to a guy named Arthur Hawkwing, who was damn near united the whole world under his kingdom, and starts to sow dissent through the Aes Sedai and basically breaks it up.
Okay, sorry, I keep coming back. So this baby is not Ishmael.
I don't know. No, Ishmael, he's been fighting Ishmael the whole time.
So this baby, again, that comes back to my original point. So this baby has lived and died a dozen or so times from this opening scene until we see him in the Two Rivers, or until we see him.
No, this baby is, as far as I can tell, this baby doesn't have anything to do with Rand other than, because Rand is Lews Therin's soul reborn. That's the dragon. So I don't know what the baby has to do with anything. I don't think it's like a lineage thing or anything like that. It's just like, this is where this soul spits you out. And, at this time, there was a place called the Hall of Servants. I think that's where the Eye of the World was, because if you look where, it kind of flashes in, it looks like the Hall of Servants where the first scene takes place. And that's was kind of the seat of power for the Aes Sedai, male and female at the time. A lot of the people that first went to the Dark One were because they figure out how to tap something called the True Source and the True Power. And it's even more power than the regular one power. And people who were jealous of Lews Therin. That was Ishmael's thing, is that he was very jealous of Lews Therin.
Holy crap.
So was Demandred.
So what you're telling me is
you'll meet Demandred later.
So what you're telling me is I'm going to have to keep watching to figure all this shit out.
Oh yeah, and you better start listening to the books like yesterday. I just listened to the end of the Eye of the World today, and I was just like so jacked up for the episode tonight. I think that's why I'm a little let down, because it was a really good episode, but I was just like, oh man, I wanted that, and there's no dip. Man, I'm still mad, you guys. But then I was like, man, it was amazing. But man, I really wish we could have had some more of this.
And I don't want to
ruin it for you, dude.
I've already downloaded it. I'm going to check that out. Yeah, to the listeners, I'm going to be doing my research. I'm going to actually learn some of this terminology during the off season. I'll be talking to you through the whole off season, but I really wanted to experience this first season just totally blind. I haven't done any research outside of this podcast and watching the show, and I'll step my game up, but I think this has been a fun intro to the podcast, just my dumbass.
Well, no, I think keeping you one book behind is good because honestly, like with how, like you said, they set up this thing. Well, we'll get there, I guess. God damn it, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Okay. I think we've pretty much talked about the opening scene. We kind of went back and forth with it, but I think we've gotten through it.
Yeah.
Now we go back to Darfala.
Faldara.
Again, folks, I'll be working on my names and my terminology. I won't get ahead of the books, but I will learn some of these things.
Faldara is the city, Shinar is like the state. Yeah, so anyways, that's what caused the taint right there, is that, you know, Lews Therin decided to go do his 100 companions with his 99 buddies, and it was all males, and that's what settled the taint in to the male half of the source. So then we get into
then we go to the Borderlands.
We go straight back to the Borderlands. Get in the chopper. Get in the chariot.
And this is something, they
don't have chariots.
Not yet.
Not yet, nerd.
I know. I love that at the very end of the opening scene. I love that pan out to the city just to see how like technologically advanced and you know how they showed that we have been set back a couple hundred years.
Oh yeah, exactly. You can see that it's definitely a futuristic society. They can fly and they have tons of like technology, even though it's magically based more than technology based. They're definitely a more advanced race of humans than we are.
So I think, kind of a side note, but while he's on the screen, I think part of Perrin's problem, I'm guessing he's super British and he's trying to he sounds like he's trying to hide an accent.
But I don't know why he would try to hide it. You're like reading my notes. Literally, my next note is Perrin is kind of a punk ass, and he still fucking bothers me. It's not that. I see what they're doing because he is gonna, trust me, by next season when he really comes into his own. The kid's a good actor, and yeah. He's as for what I have for all my acting fucking experience, and like you can see he's a good actor. I think they're really trying to make Perrin this like strong silent character, which is what he is in the books, but he's also like incredibly noble and incredibly like he's a very just, you know, he's like the moral fucking compass of the group for a long time. Rand loses his way, Rand comes back. Matt's always kind of a fucking dickhead, but even though he ends up doing what's right, Perrin is like the goodest of the good guys. He always does what's right. And so for him to kind of be just kind of like, oh, the way of the leaf is, yeah. You never struggled with that, dude. You know that you have to fight to live.
You know what? Here's my guess, and I know you can answer this if you want to. You can decide. I think he's half Ogier. Damn it.
No.
That laugh says it all. Because when he was hanging out with Loyal, you know, and he seemed to be like almost that strong, and he is a little slower and a little more deliberate and all that stuff. I was like,
deliberate is the word. 100%. If you had to describe Perrin's character in one word, it would be deliberate. Everything he does, everything. Like he doesn't even want to break the rules to like save his wife at a later point. And he's just like, you got to do it the right way. It's like, dude, if my wife is being held captive, I'm going to fucking kill all of you.
You and you.
Especially when I can talk to wolves.
Especially you and you.
Yeah.
You're pretty cool. You're fucking cool. You're dead.
You're dead. Your mom's dead. Everyone's dead. We get to see Malkier pretty quickly. Get to see the Seven Towers. That's where Lan is from, but it's been overtaken by the Blight, which is pretty cool.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay, when she said it was moving, I thought the eye was moving.
That's what those giant lumps of shit were.
Yeah, I thought the eye was moving, not that the Blight was moving towards them. Okay, I get it now.
Sorry, I just got a text from my cousin real time. I think they need to change the opening to based on the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan. He's pretty mad about stuff. He's like, mostly I like needling you about shit because you love it so much. Just like when we were kids, he's like, I had more issues with it. And you were always just like, I love it. Shut up.
Yeah, well, if he had issues with the books, then yeah, of course he's got issues with the TV show. That's a lose-lose, baby.
I know.
So, yeah, and just like, again, this is a TV show thing. They always have to do weird, vague things to keep us interested and keep us guessing. But like,
yeah.
Moiraine, fucking just open your mouth, Moiraine. Like, why do you have to drag him through the blight and just be like, yeah, there's some shit over here, but we'll figure it out, whatever.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Do you know? I don't know. It's like, that's even Rand says, though. It's like, you have a fucking plan within a plan within a plan every time. And now you're like, I don't know. I don't know. Where's the lemnis bread? Are you hungry? I don't know.
Yeah. So she finally does just like, all right, we got this thing that all of the, is that right? Or a male Aes Sedai put all of their power into this object and no? Okay.
No. So, sorry, I should let you finish. That was rude.
No. There's no reason I should take our audience down a totally wrong road.
So here's what it's not. It's not this. No, it's think of it as it's like an object of power. There are 3 different kinds. There are angreals, which generally just kind of increase the power that you can channel unaided, and they really did a good job of showing that in this episode. We'll get to that too. Because if you try to, it's like Sweet Life. It's like, oh man, I just want one more drink. It's like, you're going to fucking have a headache in the morning if you drink that, but you'll kill yourself, or you'll burn the ability to channel out of yourself if you try to draw too much. And so an angreal can let you, maybe double your strength. A saw angreal can like do anything from double your strength to 300 times your strength for you D&D, 300x baby, for you D&Ders out there. It's like a multiplier basically. And then there are terangreal, which are usually made for a specific use, whether it's entering the world of dreams or traveling or healing, or there's usually you channel into them a certain way, and that's what they do. That's the only thing that they're good for,
So they're simultaneously working their way through the blight to get to the eye of the world, while Fad Bala Daft Raffle, whatever that city's name is
Faldara, you dick. Falafel. I don't know. What the fuck? Where are they again? I don't know. They're just somewhere.
They are ready to kick ass. And I can't believe they only had 3 channelers until Egwene and oh
god, Nynaeve. That's so fucked up. See, so that's a major departure from the books, is that when they go to the eye, everybody's there. So, that's definitely a change. But I mean, I see why they did it that way. It would have been pretty confusing to try to finish it like they did in the book. Like, I've read the book multiple times and it's still kind of like, okay, what's happening exactly? But, and like, you get the whole speech from Lan about how I can't be the man you want, and it's a very condensed version of the speech of why basically, it's not you, it's me type of thing.
Yeah. And I'm trying to figure out where we want to go from here. I almost just want to jump to the yeah. So they take a little break. She realizes they're very close to the eye.
Whoa, you have the dream.
Yeah, and she's like, I forget they kind of get to the eye before they get to the eye.
Yeah, they take a little break by Malkier so you can see the 7 towers, and that's just a little nod to the book because they kind of rest by Malkier and it's overtaken by the blight. And then you get the whole like scene with Nynaeve and Lan like that. Hopefully that wets the book reader's whistle, because he has this whole speech, which he says a lot of the same stuff, but he's just like, I have nothing to give you but a war I can't win. She's like, some people just want the man. He's just basically like, nah, I'm already pledged to Moiraine and I'm not good enough for you, basically. And she's like, whatever. But I don't know, the little sawing reel that she gave him, I almost think it might be a link to this other thing called a Choden Call, which is like the most powerful sawing reel for men ever made. It's like a link to a bigger one. I don't know if it is or not, but it'd be really cool if it was. Just a little note. But then Rand, they head back to the blight and they're like, oh, we're going to take a break. And then Rand falls asleep and Moiraine gets stabbed in her mouth.
Yes, she does. And so yeah, you've been kind of talking about this. We've seen it a little bit, but now there's like officially a dream world where stuff can happen, and
Usually if something happens in the world of dreams, it's like real. So like the fact that Rand kind of stabbed himself was kind of like, oh, like usually stuff that happens in the world of dreams is real. So that's a little like, okay. But it's all in like whatever the person is, kind of making it in their image to do, obviously he made himself look.
Because that's kind of a power move too. Like if he's that powerful, he can cut himself out of a dream.
Yeah. Or just, wake up. That's a way to wake himself up. And, like the fact that we finally get this casting. Can we just talk about the casting? That guy's sinister as fuck for Ishmael.
Whew. He's
a good villain.
Does he maintain, I know for TV, they need an actor to play him. Does he maintain the same form that much in the book?
For a little while longer, he still goes balls him in with the eyes of fire for like one more book.
Okay.
And then he goes away for a while, and then he comes back with a different, he looks different when he comes back.
Rand is getting, again, like this is why Moiraine was so coy for movie viewers, because now that Rand is figuring this all out in real time along with his viewers, which is pretty cool. And he's like, okay, what's going on here? This is serious. This guy's not to be fucked with, and I need to start getting into character.
Yeah, because at this point, like they did a good job of like, Rand realizing he's the guy, but still going like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do, because as they're going to the eye of the world, they still don't really know. I mean, Rand kind of suspects, but everybody else is kind of like, we're just kind of going to the spot. We don't really know what we're supposed to do. And
he kind of gets mad at Moiraine for a second for thinking that it was Egwene, or no, did she think it was Egwene or Nynaeve? He kind of gets mad. He's like, you thought it was her, didn't you?
What do you mean? Oh yeah.
And
yeah, I'm not sure what was that about. And she just kind of like stares off, and like, I don't really know what that look is supposed to mean. She's like, maybe.
Yeah.
I think maybe because she could, I think they just did that so that you can, it's foreshadowing so that you can see how truly strong she is, because that she is, like a female equivalent to Rand as far as strength and the power. And dude, if her story arc, like I said, she's not the most loyal character. She's annoying sometimes, but she's a tough girl, and her story arc's really good. And it has to do with who we see at the end of the episode. So I really hope they stick with that, because it also adds to her strength and the power and her just force of will.
The will.
Well, so they talk about the power, just like, Moiraine says, like, look, if your life's in danger, you're going to channel. So,
Oh, yeah. I'm glad you brought that up, because, that's why he gets mad, because she was teaching her how to channel and didn't teach him shit. And so he got mad, and she's and then Moiraine tells the story about how she couldn't channel. And so someone basically came and whipped her with all kinds of powers until she was so mad she had no choice. And she passes that knowledge on to Rand as to say, like, when you need to channel, you'll channel. And here, take this too.
That's kind of funny, because usually, like, that's a story from what they would call Nynaeve is a wilder. She's managed to like channel a few times and not really access it consciously. She'll kind of just do it as needed. That's like you see her in the ways just kind of like bust out because their lives are in danger. Same thing. That's what Moraine's talking about with Rand. But if you're a wilder, usually you create a block for yourself, whether it's like you have to cry to channel, or Nynaeve has to generally be angry or feel really, really powerful emotions, and then she just goes nuts. But it sounds like they're almost making out like, some novices when they're going through training will get a block, because they're homesick or they're, just whatever. And so that was how they kind of broke Moraine's block, was by, beating the shit out of her. You're going to channel, bitch.
I'm guessing that was either Lorraine or her lover.
If it comes out, I bet it'll be Shiriam. This chick, she's the mistress of novices.
Oh, there we go. The Mistress of Novices. Why don't I have a cool title like that?
You can have one.
Yeah, I'm the Mister of
Orange Hats.
Yes. Right there, everybody. There's my orange hat.
No Pants podcasting at its finest.
they go down into the eye, and things start coming back to Rand. He's like, I've been here before. This is all just a little bit too familiar. What's going on? And I forget, do they see... Does Ishmael make an appearance before they go into Dream World, or does he go into the Dream World and that's what makes Ishmael appear?
Ishmael, it's like what he traps him in while he's sleeping is called a dream shard when Moiraine gets stabbed in the face. This is kind of a version of that.
But like when they're in the eye, he just takes over. He just basically puts him to sleep in the eye, doesn't he? Like Rand doesn't take a nap.
Yeah, kind of. It's just like he's overwhelmed with the power of what's going on. And like it's like he kind of like sucks him into the world of dreams. And that's where he can be his most powerful at this time because he's not free yet. So that's where he can really affect stuff. And that's why Moiraine can't see what's going on because he kind of sucks him into telling Riyadh in the land of dream or world of dreams, and then he creates that like that's just as dangerous as like a nightmare of Trollocs is that if you find a dream that you're happy and you don't want to leave, that's just as dangerous as a nightmare that you die in is you find the life that you always wanted and you decide to stay there.
Oh my gosh, this is funneling in so well. I just got recommended a book last night where a guy basically does that. Like he figures out a way to escape to a better life in his dreams, and so then he just spends the rest of his life in this weird dream state. And
yeah, it's a little Inception-y, but I think that what will happen is that your body would die eventually. So
waking and eating is good, people.
Yeah, you must eat the foods.
So there's dual scenes going on with Ishmael in the real world talking to Moiraine, and then in the dream world talking to Rand. And Moiraine puts a dagger to Rand's neck and just says, I will kill him because she's basically like, if he chooses dark, I'm slitting his throat. And
yeah, you don't get him either way. You'll still be strapped here.
And Ishmael is like, you don't know what he's picking. I have him somewhere else choosing a side, and you don't know what it is. Do you really want to slice his throat if he chooses good? And so she's conflicted. Rand is getting shown his perfect world, the world that got taken from him when Gwen decided to become a wisdom.
Yeah, or no, dude, that's what would happen if she decided to become a wisdom, but because she wants to go become an Aes Sedai now, he's like, I know this isn't what she wants. That's how he saw through the lie, because he's like, I don't care what was offered to Egwene. She wants to be an Aes Sedai. That's the fact. And that's the one thing that he actually goes, no. Because he would have bought everything else, but he was like, no, dude, I know this. The woman I love does not want this.
And I'm not going to force it on her.
Yeah.
I could take over the world. And so what you're saying, this isn't said in the book, but he would be trapped in this dream world if he chose that.
Basically, but the thing is like they're really just foreshadowing actually how powerful Rand is. He's not even really a human and he doesn't know it. Like, I mean, he is, but it's like he can, like Ishmael said, he's like, you just look it and will it. And eventually, like, Rand gets so powerful that like, oh, geez, what? There's my tobacco and my pipe in my hand. Oh, where do I have a matchstick? Oh, it's lit. Okay. Like all he has to do is think it and it's life. And it's just, and like, that's what he's trying to foreshadow how strong he really is and what he's really capable of. But, I think they had to do it. They really had to, what's the word I'm looking for? Like baby bird us information, because if they really tried to go all in Eye of the World, so many people's eyes would have just rolled back in their heads and like, oh, hail Mother Mary Grace, what's happening? Where am I? Like it's too much, man, to try to pack into 8 episodes. And so the things that they nailed to set up to like all of the rest of the stuff is perfect. And God damn it, we got to see Uno say, burn their goat kissing hides. I want to kiss that guy. He's so great. Guy Roberts, if you're listening, I love you. I hope that you didn't die. So, back to the, they're all setting up for like, we're going to go to Tarwin's Gap and we're all going to die. Like, we know we're going to die, but that's okay.
Yeah.
But that's what the Borderlands are. Like, if you're a Game of Thrones fan, think of it as the Night Watch, man. Like, they guard the realms of men. And if the baddies get past there, it's open season.
And yeah, like you said, they're like, yeah, we're definitely going to die, but we're going to slow them down and hopefully give other people, if nothing better, a chance to say goodbye to their loved ones.
Yeah. One of the things I'm stoked about is like, I'm like, they think it's Tarman Gaidon, but it's not. Moiraine actually said that at the end of the episode.
That's right.
But if that's the craziest threat that, from the character's point of view, that's the craziest threat you've ever been faced with. I mean, what else would you think?
Yeah, totally. So Rand's kind of figuring it all in real time in Dreamland. He's just like, okay.
I think that is the seat of power for the Aes Sedai that they're in, that is the eye of the world, quote unquote, because it just looks the same.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. And you don't really know what's going on. Like, Ishamel's just kind of fucking with Moiraine, showing her just how powerful he is. And jump to the end, he takes her fucking power.
He stills her, dude, and that does not happen in the books. And no, so they were definitely foreshadowing her death. So I actually kind of was like almost believing that that was it for her when she got stabbed in the dream shard. I was like, oh, is she really dead? Is this, uh-oh. So they were foreshadowing it really good. I did not see that happening, getting stilled, but I think that's okay. But that gives them the reason to break the bond with her and Land earlier than the book, so that, because, you know, it's a show. They got to ship them, man. Like Nynaeve and Land, they've got to be together, and he needs to be her warder. That's just it.
So we'll jump back to the other battle here for a minute before we finish on the Eye of the World stuff.
Yeah, hold on. Let me look at notes. Yeah, totally.
The men are charging forward into the gap to kill as many of these Trollocs as they possibly can, while, like I said, I thought they were going to have quite a crew, while these three women, and then thankfully Egwene and Nynaeve join them, 5 women show to...
Thankfully, almost fucking not thankfully, Jesus.
Holy crap.
So, yeah, they definitely, like, the women in general in this show are just crazy tough badasses. Like, the Shienaran women are, like, getting the catapults ready and shit. Like, it's on.
Yeah, it's really cool. This battle is awesome. You know, classic Trollocs climbing up the wall, you know, willing to, you know, like any good bad guys, are willing to take as many losses as it takes to breach the castle. And they just keep throwing...
Yeah. Like, battlefield management is not the Shadow's strong point. You'll find out. Some of them are tacticians. Most of them are just like, I don't know. Send all the Trollocs. No one. They're gross anyway. Just go.
Trollocs are gross.
They like to do stuff and eat. Just go. It's fine. Well, and one of the things that I'm a little disappointed that I guess they really haven't had a chance to, but sometimes Fades, the eyeless, they're like kind of bonded, almost like Aes Sedai warder style. So if you kill a Fade, sometimes like 100 Trollocs will drop because they're bonded to them. So I don't know if they've ever covered that in the show yet, but that's something that I hope eventually can get you out of a jam.
They washed over it a little bit in this one when they mentioned how many Fades there are to Trollocs. You definitely get the idea that there's some kind of a connection there. And I forgot, I kept on thinking like, do we have to go back to the battle? Like they fight, blah, blah, blah. But yes, while they're fighting, a bunch of people are digging up the horn of all horns, the horn that shall only be blown for the last battle.
Right. The Horn of Valyr. And dude, the Horn of Valyr is pretty cool.
Yeah, we haven't seen it yet. We've seen the box they keep it in.
Yeah.
We haven't seen it. And my premonition finally came true that fucking trinket salesman has finally shown his allegiance.
You motherfucker. Payton Fane, you motherfucker.
Payton Fane.
And that guy's a whole, like, he's like another whole other kind of dark friend, you know, like they steal the horn for sure. They stab Loyal. Like, if he's dead, I quit. And then Ingtar and Uno get stabbed up too. And I'm sure that they're major characters, so like I'm sure that they will all be okay. But yeah, Fane takes off, and this is just setting up next season. You know, Fane takes off with the horn and the dagger. The thing about the dagger.
Oh, when did he get the dagger?
Matt, they only show it for a second. He stole it from Tarvalin. I'm pretty sure that Leandrin is his contact. I'm pretty sure Leandrin gave it to him because Moiraine probably took it to the tower, and then whoever Black Aja is there, stole it from the tower, gave it to Fane. Probably gave him the little leaf terangrial to challenge through the ways, because apparently that's a thing. I saw that on the X-ray thing. There's a little Avendasora leaf terangrial. That's how if you're a non-channeler, that's how you can go on the ways.
Oh, it's getting so good.
I know. It's such a nerd boner festival. It's like I said, it's like if you don't know what's going on, it's like it makes you want to learn or go, this is too in depth for me.
I know I had some people ask me last night. They're like, "Should we watch it?" And for this particular people, this isn't the advice I would give to everybody, but I was like, wait until season 2 is done and then binge it all. Like, I want people to get
And
into the
then
show.
decide,
I want them to enjoy it, but there's a certain kind of people that would just be like, it's because I think I think, and I have, and I trust you that they're going awesome places, but this 8 episodes of setup I could see be really frustrating for certain people. And I would like, if I was just watching this, like if I didn't know you and I had no idea about the books and I just threw it on, I'd be like, this is cool, but
I'm not really sure where they're going.
Yeah, like I'll come back to it next season and see what happens.
Yeah, well, and I think that it was smart of him because, like, literally, like, the Horn of Valyr gets stolen, the dagger, so it's like Matt's gonna have to go find the dagger. Rand kind of goes off on his own, but they send Rand hunting the horn as well, so then the boys join back up, and then it's like they're setting up for everyone to go different directions next season, and that's good because while Nynaeve and Egwene head to the tower, those baddies that showed up in the end, they run into those fuckers and it gets bad. It's just I think they're setting it up. They had to do a lot of setup for what will be, I think if they look at season 1 and 2 as one when they're done, it's going to be much more like, oh yeah, for people who aren't like in the know of things.
Set it up and hit it out of the park.
Yeah, a little more standalone.
Yeah,
for sure.
So the Trollocs beat the shit out of all of the men and are charging the castle. And our 5 women, there's one, is she a more powerful Aes Sedai, or is she just taking lead? Is she just the general? Like, or is she a badass?
This pisses me off, actually.
Uh-oh.
No, she's not a badass, actually. She's someone who, and I don't know if this is so in the books, but she studied in the tower, but she wasn't strong enough, and they definitely foreshadow this scene. She wasn't strong enough to become a sister, but she knows how to channel, so she knows how to link as well. And when you link, it's sort of like you're using the other people who can channel as like a fucking battery pack. And if you try to do too much with the battery pack, you're gonna fucking, you're gonna trip a breaker. And that's why the people start dying, because she gets drunk on the power. And she's just like, she's like just, coming in her pants because she's never felt so much power, especially being linked to Nynaeve and Egwene. Like, being linked to, 4 people? Being linked to 4 other people, even if they could barely channel, would be like increasing her power 5-fold. And how strong Egwene and Nynaeve are, it's like turning, I don't know how to describe it. It's like a 9-volt battery versus a supercharger or something. Like, it's just like, she's like, I've never felt so much power. And like Nynaeve and Egwene are so strong on their own. Like, it's crazy.
She's plugged into the grid.
Yeah, she's in the Matrix, dude, and she's sucking all the juice. The one chick, she burns her out, she dies. The other chick, she burns her out and she dies. And she basically is about to burn out Egwene and Nynaeve. And I think Nynaeve does something that kind of like, if they were trained, they could have cut the link. And so I think Nynaeve kind of does that enough to where when it snaps back, it releases Egwene, which is why she is not hurt, and just fries Amelisa completely at that point, because suddenly she doesn't have the extra, it just goes right through her and just burns her up.
Nynaeve reverses the current. And so
kind of, that's basically a good way to look at it.
So Nynaeve kind of saves Egwene, and Egwene, she obviously doesn't feel.
She heals her.
Yeah, she doesn't feel awesome that Nynaeve sacrificed herself for Egwene, and so then Egwene, like everybody right now who can't just use their power at will, she is sad and mad and all of those things, and manages to bring Nynaeve back from the brink.
Yeah, they're really pushing the power as like, it's a thing of need. If you're untrained, and I think, each, like I said, we'll get into all of this, believe me, already. But each person who can channel has certain like talents with a capital T, and sometimes it's healing, and sometimes it's there's tons of talents. Loghain's talent, he can see Ta'veren, so like he sees a glow around people who are Ta'veren, which is like there's not a lot of them, so that's kind of a lame talent, but whatever. But like, like obviously.
And Meg with her super awesome ability to grow her fingernails.
Jesus. The N stands for nerd. Your favorite movie is books. And yeah, so I think that they're going to probably write in that was one of the seals that basically got broken, that Rand and they were kind of standing on that piece of stone that she's kind of holding up at the end. It's Quendiar or whatever. It's supposed to be unbreakable.
So Rand he's figuring it all out. He's in the dream. He realizes that this is not what the woman he loves wants. And he starts to channel Saidin and Saidar all at once.
No, just Saidin.
What's the black and white called?
So it's just, when you see the black, that's just them representing the male half and the madness, the taint.
I thought it had a different name, though.
From the dark one.
I thought it had a different name.
No, it's Saidin. It's just, it's Saidar is the female half, but they're just showing you the difference. Otherwise,
All right, well, then I'm just going to... I was trying not to say light and dark again, but I may have to just to... So he is channeling light...
Taint.
He is channeling taint. He's channeling all through his taint, all the way from under himself, gathering...
That's the most powerful way.
Gathering the power.
No pants, taint to the sky.
And Ishmael realizes, like, he's...
not falling for it.
Yeah, he's not falling for it. And then Moiraine sees... what's it called? The trinket glowing in his pouch that she passed down to him for extra power. She sees that glow.
The saw-angreal.
The saw-angreal. And she's like, oh yeah, he's doing exactly what I told him. And then I don't remember what happens. Honestly, I'm gonna watch the scene. I'm actually right at that scene. He's showing in the dream and in the eye, he's doing the same thing. He's just like, I'm on to you, motherfucker.
Yeah, he just kind of like vaporizes old boy Ishmael. He just kind of like wishes him away. It's not even that. He's channeling, he's doing something, but like it's nothing like visible per se.
Okay, and that's what causes the crack, that much power. So is he, we might be giving something away, but is Ishmael dead?
Not completely.
Okay, I didn't think so. He's more of an idea even than a thing. So
nah, he's been wounded. Like he's wounded for sure. Spoiler alert, they get into another fight at the end of the next book, but it's the Great Hunt. They get into another fight, and it's like he keeps kind of haunting him because Rand's like, oh, I've won, but it's like he starts getting dogged by more Forsaken, and he's just Rand's journey is really depressing. Hey, get on board, guys. This show's incredibly depressing.
Keep tuning in week after week for
you ready to cry? Watch the Wheel of Time, because it's gonna make you fucking bawl your eyes out.
Thank the light. And so so and then Rand walks away. He tells Moiraine, tell everyone I died.
Yeah.
He said, do me a favor, tell him I died. She says, I can't lie. He's like, you'll figure it out, you conniving.
Well, and those are actually some of the things that like I hate and love at the same time, because I'm like, God damn it, this is earlier than the books and it's not the same, and now, oh great, now what? But then you wait for a second and then you're like, oh great, now what? Like, what the fuck? Where's Min going? Or is she gonna link up with Rand way early? And like, oh man, like those are for the off-season pods, because yeah,
we're gonna get deep all spring and summer long, but we'll take a deep dive next week. We're gonna keep this one a little bit short just so I can turn it around for tomorrow. We'll talk for a little bit more. We'll close it up, but just for the listeners out there, we're gonna leave. There's gonna be a lot of loose ends to clean up, and we have a lot of time to deal with them, so don't worry about it.
Well, before we close this off, the motherfuckers that showed up in the ships.
Oh,
that poor little girl just got fucking apocalyptoed. Bye.
So real quick,
I hope she could swim.
Before we leave too many loose ends, yes, we'll get there. So Rand takes off. Lan finds Moiraine. Moiraine says, I've been stilled. Egwene and Nynaeve are... So we got Rand, Mat, Perrin, and Nynaeve and Egwene look like they're going to stay together for a minute. But we've got, at least it doesn't look like Perrin's going to go with them.
Matt's in Tarvalin.
Well, right. I'm just saying, like, for next season, everyone's going to be going their separate direct, because Perrin's not going to go with Nynaeve and Egwene, is he? He's going to be chasing, or I don't know what he's going to do, but.
See, that's what I'm saying. It's like, that's what I mean about the now what. I got to start reading The Great Hunt again, because it's like, if I remember right, Perrin, Matt's in Tarvalin, or has to go to Tarvalin, and so they end up, like, the girls, and I can't remember. Like I said, it's been so long since I read those ones, but it's like, I thought Perrin and Matt and Rand all take off after the Horn, and Egwene and Nynaeve start heading towards the tower.
So I'm guessing Perrin's going to go after the Horn. Egwene and Nynaeve are going to go to the towers. Rand's off fucking around, and Matt's going to Tarvalin.
Matt's in Tarvalin, so I don't know what's gonna go down there. But no, that's what I'm saying. Like, those are things. It's like, I'm kind of like, well, what about that? And I'm like, well, dude, what are they gonna do? So I'm super excited. And then, like, yeah, I don't know how they're gonna reunite. And Matt and Rand definitely have a lot of time in the books together. Perrin has time with them too, and like the fact that Moiraine's not going to be channeling, they're together a lot. Matt and they separate for a while, but Matt and Rand and Lan, they get back together after a while. And so it's, I'm just like, what's going to happen next? I can't wait to see.
Yeah, everything's going to happen next. And then, so then we cut out of there and we fade in to this armada of something me as the uninitiated have no fucking idea what's going on here. There's a bunch of women in a bunch of boats and they're all powerful.
Yeah. So, little teaser without giving too much away. These people are called the Shan-Chan, and they are the descendants of Arthur Hawkwing. I don't know if they've brought him up too much yet. He was someone who basically almost had the whole world united under his rule, and then it all came crumbling down because of Ishamael whispering in his ear. He sent his armies to the other side of the world, and they have come back. And they took Arthur Hawkwing's dislike of Aes Sedai and people who channel because of Ishamael, and they have stepped it up. And if you see, they're collared, they have gags in their mouths, and that's what they do to women who can channel in Shan-Chan. They're used as weapons and healers, and like they're like treated, like pets or slaves, depending on how you look at it. Some of them are treated nicely, some of them are treated really terribly, and most of them are really treated just like worse than you would treat anything on Earth. They're terrible. And the Shan-Chan are definitely warlike, very strong, and they're coming back to take over Arthur Hawkwing's realm. And they have no idea what's going on over here as far as Eye of the World or any of that shit.
They have to. If they're that powerful, they got a clue.
No, they're just, they had their own empire, and they've decided to come back and take what was rightfully theirs. It's called the Return. They're not bad guys per se. It's like, it's from a certain point of view.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. That guy, and also Parfall is, damn it, I'm gonna fuck this all up. The trinket salesman,
Payton Fane.
He thinks he's doing the right thing. He's like, no, I'm saving the world. You guys are trying to destroy it. And at least that's how I read it. Like, he's like,
yeah, no, a lot, like, Ed's definitely, they're trying to inform. That's how Ishamael feels. You really start getting into it. It's like, we've had this battle more times than I could count. I've ground you to dust before you were even out of your teens, and you've almost won, but you've never won. And you've lived lives of significance. You've lived lives of insignificance. And I keep fucking having to deal with it, and I want it to end. Basically. And that's how the Dark Friends kind of feel. It's like, we'll just have nothingness then. I get it's like a nihilist kind of point of view, I suppose. We believe in nothing, Lebowski. Nothing.
If everyone will just kneel to me, we can have peace.
We'll cut off your Johnson, Lebowski.
The boysenberry pancake.
The lingonberry pancakes. She cut off a toe.
Lincolnberry pancake. Ugh.
Who gives a fuck about the fucking toe?
I'll suck your cock for $1,000.
Or some pancakes. I want waffles.
Waffles. So we're going to leave it there, people. Like I said, I know you're like, but we have a lot of time to talk about a lot of stuff. And like I said, next week, we're just going to go ham. I won't have to turn that episode around as fast, so we'll be able to chat a little bit longer, and it'll be great. And then I want to do commentary tracks. I just think that's going to be fun, and we have a lot of time to fill, and I think that's going to be unique out there, people. So stay tuned for that. Any last thing you want to tell the people, Justin? Anything we missed?
Yeah, no, just like you said, like you were saying right there, you know, we're going to talk Shan-Chan. We're going to talk about Moiraine's arc now that she's been stilled. What Forsaken may or may not show up, been cut out of the show. The Horn of Valyr and what it does. Oh, just like you said, commentary on the episodes. Just predictions once I go through the Great Hunt on things that I hope to see or might see. Or you know what, the guys hit me up at Parched Ailman and tell us what you want to talk about. If there's something you want to see, and tell us why. Because by the way, anyone who is listening that does follow on Twitter, like the Twitter of Time people, you guys are the best. Like, so much fun, very positive. Like, just I've been waiting to talk about this shit with people for fucking 20 years, and it's fun, man, and it's awesome, and I love it, and you guys rock, and keep keeping on. I hope we can do this for a lot of years because it's super fun.
Awesome. Hell, and who's the cast member that's following us?
Uno follows us, man. Guy Roberts, baby.
Guy Roberts. Thank you very much.
Yes, I have arrived. My goal in life is over.
Hell yeah. The big follow. While you're waiting for more Thank the Light, check out some other podcasts. We have All the Answers, Truth Not Trends. Time Pop is making a triumphant return January 6th. We got lots of past episodes if you want to check out some time travel stuff. But January 6th, Time Pop is back with Tenet and Be Brave. Awesome. Go to wherever you listen to podcasts to check that out, or come over to whatsoundsawesome.com for your hub of what sounds awesome. May the last embrace of your mother welcome you home.
No, the mother, baby, not your mother. Peace favor your sword, motherfuckers. May you always find water and shade.
The kingfisher flashes above the pond.
That's a sword form, apparently.
You don't know.
That's what it said in the book. These are my Bible.
Go read the Bible. I'm watching a television show.
These are better than the Bible. It's how I based who I should be as a dad and a father and a husband.
Oh, that's awesome. I just watch sitcoms.
Well, I mean, that too, but you know, not Friends.
Thank you all out there for joining us through this awesome season, and we have so much more. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you continue to enjoy it. I love you all. Merry Christmas!
Oh yeah, have a good holiday, you fuckers. Merry Christmas. We love you.
Fuck Christmas. Tomorrow's my birthday. Happy birthday!
No shit. Happy birthday, Des. I love you, man.
Thank you.
I'm so glad we're doing this together, brother.
Oh, I just can't. This is one of those things I wanted to force 2 years ago so bad, and it was so worth the wait. This was the project we needed.
It's so funny because I wanted to beg you to do something 2 years ago, but I'm like, he's got stuff. He's busy.
I got stuff.
But like you said, it was something like, dude, the passion I have for the show and everything, it's like, I love it a lot. And so it's easy to talk about it. And I'm just so stoked that so many other people are going to get to, you know, they're going to be able to share it now. And there's a lot of people who haven't read the books that will probably go read them. And it just makes it better because it's just another way of telling the story. And then you get to see even more background to it as you read the book. So it's really cool.
Read a book, people.
Yeah, read a book. Seriously, they're good.
Still there?
Uh-oh. Did I lose you?
Come back to me, Justin. Mixed and edited by Desmond McNeese for We Mixed It, LLC. Go to whatsoundsawesome.com.